friends, how you doing? It's Charles here, and I just got back from the doctor's office. I had to go get my checkup, but that gave me a chance to catch up with some comics. And today at the doctor's office, I read Absolute Superman, which is a reimagining of the Superman character, which really appealed to me because I've never been a big fan of Superman as we know him, but this reimagining and retelling is very, very appealing to me. There will be a couple of spoilers if you haven't been if you've waiting. Click off the video. I understand, but I'm going to try to keep this review mostly spoiler free. I'm going to start off by saying that this book is all about action, and it is the first time that we really get to see this Superman in his full glory, facing off against Lazarus Corp. He was surrounded by them at the end of the last issue, and that was our big cliffhanger. And we met Lois Lane, who in this story is an officer of Lazarus Corp, and she was trying to subdue him. But where we start is actually 6 years previous on Krypton. And we get a little bit more into Clark's history and his rebellion against the science class, the ruling class, and him wanting to really express himself and share the knowledge that he's learned from his parents and from growing up in the farmlands, not just the scientific zealotry. And so we see that is, these flashbacks really plant a root of who this Superman is and what is important to him. Because when we see him in this, he's not fighting for the big guy. He's fighting for the oppressed, for miners who are being oppressed and virtually robbed in South America. He is all about the underdog. And so I think that this book does a great, job of going back in time to his Krypton life to where he is now and explaining why he is who he is and how he fights. And you see here that Lois has him cuffed per se, and it's really interesting because he's trying to use his suit. This system is called Soul, I think, and it assists him along with his powers. And so he's trying to get these cuffs off, trying to detach from her. At the same time, is trying not to hurt her, but not giving in to Lazarus Corp. And so you get to see that they get to know each other through this violent sequence of Lazarus Corp trying to kill him, not really too concerned about her, and Superman, who she is attempting to arrest, protecting her and the people around them from the haphazardness of Lazarus Corp just lighting everything up. And I thought it was very clever the way they did it, because you get to see that this fascination and interest in who this guy is from Lois's part, it makes sense. She is literally tied to him in the heat of combat, and she gets to find out who he is under pressure. So I thought that was a very clever way of tying these two essentially strangers together. And it starts off her obsession with wanting to find out who he is, where he is from, and she's trying to explain to her superiors that he doesn't seem like a threat, but they're not trying to hear it. They just want him caught and exterminated because he's getting in the way of their money. And so it's this issue is great at establishing that relationship between Clark and Lois, and really her hitting a fork in the road and deciding, okay, is she going to be a good soldier of Lazarus Corp, or is she going to follow her instincts and try to help out this Superman? I really, really enjoyed this issue. I can't suggest it enough. Absolute Superman, the number 2 part of the Absolute Universe, which is a reimagining of DC characters and their backstory. So check it out if you can. Go to your local comic book store. And if you do not have a local comic book store, check out my friends at Coffee and a Comic. They have great deals and they ship nationwide. CoffeeandAcomic.com. You get free coffee with every purchase. So go check them out, and I will see you next time. Until then, keep reading them books.